It's about that time we started talking about BlizzCon, which runs on the 3rd and 4th of November, and it's there we will finally get to witness the playoffs of Overwatch World Cup 2017. Get hyped! The nations fielding teams are UK and Sweden, Canada and Australia, China and France, and South Korea and the US of A. And the opening games will be between those nations as paired here. A great misfortune has come to light, however. 4 of China's original roster of 6 have been unable to obtain US visas. It's unclear as how this came to pass and what efforts are being made to overcome the obstacles, but in the 3 months since their qualifying, this unfortunately is the end result. While replacements have been found, it is a great disappointment for fans of Chinese Overwatch and undoubtedly for those 4 players themselves. It's difficult to imagine that a team dominated by replacements at such short notice will perform to nearly the same standard of what has been come to expect of the original roster. Hopefully in the future such issues will be more easily overcome on grounds that these players are professional athletes in internationally competitive scenes. Continuing from last week where we left off with the APAC Premier Group stages, playoffs have since been underway, and here's a quick rundown. In the quarterfinals, Miraculous Youngster took on Blank Esports and showed their mettle, winning out with 4 maps to 1. Runaway faced off against MVP Space and came out victorious with a not uncontested 4 out of 6 maps win. GC Busan faced off against Flash Wolves and were having none of the underdogs' challenge, winning a clean 4 of 4 maps. 1-2-3-4 faced off against the dominant Afrika Freaks and couldn't bring a winning game. Afrika Freaks won out easily with 4 maps to 0. The semi-finals in turn were also pretty one-sided affairs. Runaway faced off against Miracle Youngster, and for the first map, Lijiang Tower, Miracle Youngster looked dominant overall despite a 100-0 loss in the second round, but brought it back with a 100-0 win on Night Market to take the map win 2-1. Map 2 on King's Row saw some very interesting comps from both sides during the first attack phase by MY. Runaway sported an Orisa Torb combo on the high ground, complemented by Stitch on the Junkrat, while MY brought out a triple support plus Rhine attack Bastion composition that won them the capture point first try. With the payload moving, however, they faltered and were held back, making very little progress in the Streets phase despite numerous DPS switches. Runaway didn't want to look shabby and brought a sharp attack with Haxel on the Farah that left Miracle Youngster reeling, reaching the designated endpoint with 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, winning the map. Map 3 again showed Runaway to be in dominant form, letting only the 1 tick to Miracle Youngster's attack, also completing the objective in good time in their own assault phase. Map 4 took us to Route 66, where Miracle Youngsters looked to be on roll in the early stages, taking first checkpoint with plenty of time to spare. However, Runaway found their feet and brought the cart to a final standstill short of checkpoint 2. With Runaway on the attack, they didn't let up and made the winning mark easily to take the map win. Map 5. On the brink of losing a place in the finals, Miracle Youngster took the capture point on Nepal Shrine with a flourish. Runaway wasn't having any of it, however, and flipped the point in their favor, holding firm till the round win was theirs. Miracle Youngster won round 2 on the Sanctum in great form, but the tables turned in round 3 when Runaway took Village with 100 capture progress to nothing, taking the map win and earning their place in the finals. The second semi-final matchup was between Afrika Freaks and GC Busan. Fresh off their win in Overwatch Apex, GC Busan were not going to let up now with another finals in sight. Control on Lijiang Tower was a fierce battle. Round 1 on Garden saw Afrika Freaks take the lead and win the round neatly. Round 2 went the way of GC Busan, who took the point first and held it stubbornly all the way to the end round. Round 3, Control Center, however, was unlike the previous 2 and proved to be a furious back-and-forth scrap with caps going both ways time and again. Eventually, however, GC held just long enough to take the round and map win. Map 2 on Umbani saw the Afrika Freaks attacking, and despite good progress, were stopped just short of the 3rd checkpoint in the end. Busan in their attacking phase were almost full held at first, but managed to get the payload rolling in overtime. With time short, GC Busan pushed on, making checkpoint 2, and were almost halted before 3rd, but managed a final brilliant effort to reach the final point in overtime, winning the map. So, Map 3 on Anubis was an especially one-sided affair. Afrika Freaks were the ones to open the assault, but were swatted aside again and again, never finding their footing. Time ran out, leaving GC Busan the easy task of taking first to win the round. Map 4 on Route 66 was the last opportunity for the Afrika Freaks to keep themselves in the running, and they performed accordingly. Facing a tough and well-coordinated defense by GC, the Freaks needed to pull some magic from the hat, and Aran proved with his Genji blade on more than one occasion, creating the opening to pass the first and second checkpoints, the latter achieved narrowly in overtime. In the final stretch, however, the defenders picked apart the few remaining pushes available to Afrika Freaks, and the payload was stopped short of the final mark. GC Busan then moved to their assault phase, in which they played the superior game and brought the payload all the way to the final checkpoint, winning the map and earning their place in the finals against Runaway. The finals of APAC Premier 2017 looked to be a hot battle, with Runaway hoping to bring the edge necessary to beat GC after their recent narrow loss to this team in the finals of Apex Season 4, a matchup that went all the way to the 7th game. With neither team looking absolute alpha, both teams went in with everything to prove. However, things proved much less tight this time around. Runaway seemed unable to compete at the same level this time over, and GC Busan won their second tournament in 2 weeks, winning 4 maps and letting only one go Runaway's way. That's been this week's news on Overwatch. We'll catch you next week for even more.